Welcome to your Week 11 edition of Head to Head. We got Alabama, we got Mississippi State, and this brought to you by the Paul W. Bryant Museum. I'm Lauren Sisler.
And I'm Kevin Scarbinsky, and we forgot our cowbells.
He hates my impression. Let's go. All right, Kevin, when you look at this matchup, first of all, we talk about the Cowbells. You go into Starkville. This is going to be, I don't think this is going to be an easy matchup for this Crimson Tide team. Obviously, coming off this last game against LSU, we've seen kind of what LSU, a very physical type of game. So this Alabama team, especially with some of the injuries on the linebacking core, I think this is going to be tough for them. One thing that really concerns me about this Alabama football team, third down conversion. Here's a good stat for you. Third down's a concern here. When they don't convert over 40%, it's a big problem. They didn't convert over 40% against FSU, Texas A&M, and LSU, but when they hold teams and have a 45% conversion rate, different story. That being said, I do like Nick Fitzgerald. I think he's really come into his own. He's really matured as a quarterback, but Jalen Hurts has also done the same thing, and ball security has been huge. He's only turned the ball over once this season. Nick Fitzgerald, he's had 10 interceptions.
Well, first of all, let me say your math makes my head hurt. I can't do that many numbers in my head, or on paper, or with a calculator. Having said that, Jalen Hurts is coming off one of his best games last week. The numbers don't reflect it. He had some drops, but he made big plays when he had to make them. He really was the offense, because the Alabama running game, this is an area of concern, was really slowed down significantly by LSU, and this is not a great LSU defense. LSU for the game, more rushing yards than Alabama, more total yards than Alabama, more possession time than Alabama. There are some areas of concern, again, for the Crimson Tide. However, I appreciate your optimism about Mississippi State. And I will, the what?
The big.
Let's leave the offensive line out of this. Your optimism about Mississippi State aside, and I will say, Starkville, one of my favorite places to watch a football game in the SEC, one of the best atmospheres. I love those fans.
And the best ice cream, right?
And there's no comparison. Easily the best ice cream.
The Dixie Cup.
This side of Penn State. That's another story. But on the football field, Mississippi State rolls over like a bunch of dogs waiting for a belly rub when they play Alabama. Do you know Dan Mullen is 0-8? 0-8 against Alabama. And it's not just that they have lost all 8 games. A lot of teams lose to Alabama, right? It's Dan Mullen's supposed to be an offensive guy. That's his area of expertise. You know, in those 8 games, only one time has Mississippi State scored more than 10 points. That was with Dak Prescott, who's lighting up the NFL.
Shocking.
They scored 20. Every other game, Mississippi State has scored 10 points or fewer against Alabama, and the aggregate score the last 2 years is Mississippi State 82. I'm sorry, flip that. Alabama 82, Mississippi State 9. Good luck, Bulldogs.
All right, Kev, prediction time. And when you look at Alabama's entire body of work, I think this Alabama team, despite some of the injuries, despite some of the physicality they saw against LSU last week, I think this Alabama team is going to come out firing. Yes, atmosphere will play a role in this. I think that Mississippi State can stay in it early, but I imagine things are going to start to fall off. Nick Fitzgerald, one thing that's interesting with him, he can move. He's a mobile quarterback, but last year Alabama had its way with him. What was his stats? 15 yards on 11 carries. I see much of the same. My final score prediction here, 31-17.
You know, a mobile quarterback you would think would give Alabama some issues because of all of those injuries to the linebacker position. But I've seen this movie too many times. Alabama knows how to defend Dan Mullen's offense. They do it year in and year out. No matter who the coordinator is at Alabama, I see more of the same. I think Alabama wins this thing, and I don't think it's close. I think J.K. Scott could play linebacker, and Alabama would win 34-7. Okay, Lauren, your favorite part of the show, Did You Know? Can you guess the 2 teams in the SEC West that have won the most football games since 2014? One's fairly easy.
Alabama.
Yes.
And Auburn.
Wrong.
Ooh.
How about Mississippi State?
I should have gone Mississippi State. That was a loaded question.
Well, of course, this streak starts with Dak Prescott and the big year they had when they got to #1, and they were #1 for 5 straight weeks until they got to Tuscaloosa. Alabama's won 49 games since 2014. Mississippi State has won 32. That's good by the Bulldogs.
A little bit of disparity, though.
Not good enough.